Starting off tonight's opening with Great Scott Cream Ale from Blackheath Brewing Company. That's not what I was expecting. This is a new brewery that I hadn't heard of before. Apparently they are based out of Brandon, Manitoba. We'll start with this one, which mysteriously came from Mississauga, as increasing numbers of packages do. It is wire. Oh, that is 5-conductor wire. Kind of flexible silicone-y kind of wire. Okay. That measures out to about a meter's worth of this. I remember why I bought this. I was planning on converting an iron handle, I can't find it right now, over to work on the T12, a different shaped handle than this one here, so that I could use that with the T12 iron to sit a little bit better. But let me find that. This is easier. Yeah, there we go. This iron handle here. So I was planning on converting it over, which I thought would be easy, but this cable in here is only a 3-conductor cable, and you can't do heating element and temperature sense and the little motion detection all in 3 conductors. As you can see, the T12 uses 6 pins. Oh, it's a 6-pin connector, and I think it actually only uses 5 of the wires. Regardless, if I'm going to do that conversion, I needed some better wire. And this is really heavy. I think it's like 18 gauge. Electrical Flex Cable 23456 core silicone rubber wire tinned copper standard. This is the version that I bought. 5-core black, 0.75 millimeter squared and 1 meter. And you can have it in various different combinations. I got this from CE10WY, whatever that means. It did cost me $7.32 Canadian, and I paid $3 Canadian shipping at the time that I ordered it back in several months ago, whenever that was. It's just wire. There's not too much to talk about it. I mean, it does have that silicone-y, rubbery kind of coating on it. I guess that's the one thing about the silicone coating. It's got a fairly wide working temperature. Good breakdown voltage, yada yada. What else do you want to know? It's wire. Okay, next thing in, we have the video splitter. Interesting tape job on their package here. Well, they did do a very good job of making sure that it doesn't get hurt. Gotta applaud them for that. It says Test Smart HDMI splitter. So here it is out of its packaging. On this side it's got USB, LED, and an HDMI marked input. Can you see that? Over here it has 2 HDMIs marked output with LEDs. So I'm assuming it does exactly what it says on the box, which I am hoping to use with this cheap little HDMI video capture card, just HDMI to USB, that I got some time ago. Put that on, I don't know. Oh, I need a cable. Okay, so put that on output 2, and output 1 can go to a monitor so I can still see what's going on. Assuming it works. I will play with that another day. But it comes with the USB power cable. That's nice. Let's just see what happens when I plug it into power. The input light comes on. Okay, now let's just see if anything happens if I plug that into one of the outputs. Nothing. Give it USB from the computer. Oh yeah, it lights up. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. That's good, I guess. It does something. I'll have to play with that in the future just to see how well it actually works. Ultra HD 4K 1 input 2 output HDMI amplifier switcher box hub support 3D 1080p. I got this at auction for $1.25 Canadian and free shipping. Unfortunately, the listing is completely gone because it was months ago when I bought it. So I will link you to this listing that finds several similar ones, including, it looks like the exact same one in those pictures here. Looks like it tends to go for in the $10-ish to $20-ish range, depending on which one you get. But here is one of those random sellers. Does it say much down here? Green passive work. Uses the latest energy-saving technologies. Power 1 watt. It claims to be able to get power from the HDMI device, yet it has a power connection. Okay. Maybe that isn't the exact same one. No, it is. It's got the USB power input. Supports all HDMI standard features, HDCP compliant, all the rest of that, yada yada yada. Supports HDMI 1.3 and HDCP, which is the copy protection 1.2. That HDCP existing is one of the reasons why I hesitated in getting into using HDMI for so very long. It just pisses me off that they think that they should be able to control how the equipment that I bought and paid for works. But that's another rant for another time. Next in is trimmer potentiometer, it claims. It's not lying. It is 2 packages of little trimmer pots. And it says 100K on both bags, so who am I to argue with that? Yep, 104, so 10 and 40 is 100K. All right. Didn't I get some of those not too long ago? Yeah, I did. Okay. Well, I must have ordered from 2 different sellers then. That's what happens when you're buying stuff late at night and drinking. Yeah, I did. This is 2 10-packs, and I also ordered 1 10-pack, which I got a little sooner, back in January. So these 2 10-packs together, I paid $5.98. I even ordered them from the same guy. Wow, I must not have been paying attention. Anyway, 10 pieces, all that stuff, jazz there. 100K trimmer pot, potentiometer, whatever, from this guy into his horrible little name. Yeah, $3.30 for one 10-pack, and free shipping. Do I need to say anything more? It's 100K trimmer pots. Next in is another one that came from the dropshipping warehouse in Mississauga, Ontario. Android camera. Oh, hey, it's one of these endoscope things. Okay. I've always been sort of curious about these, and then I noticed a couple of the 3D printing guys using these cameras to mount it right on the print head so they get super close-up video of their prints. This one looks like it's about the 1 meter length, which is all I need. I'm not going sneaking down sewers or anything. It comes with a USB micro on it, and it comes with a micro to standard USB-A adapter, and I assume I could adapt that to a USB-C if I chose to. I wonder if that'll work with the Raspberry Pi. It probably would for Octoprint. I assume it'll work with my phone because it said Android right on the box. What does this all say here? 3-in-1 Android and PC endoscope. The lens diameter is 8mm, either 5 or 7 or 8mm, depending on the lens. It either runs at 640 by 480, 1280 by 960, or 1280 by 720. Okay, yada yada, 30 frames per second, IP67 environmental protection from it. It's got 8 LEDs on it. It powers from 5 volts, AVI, and JPEG. UN3F 7mm mobile phone endoscope, waterproof pipe USB 6 LED industrial snake camera. Gotta hit all those keywords. Got this from Universal Goods. Currently, they're selling it for $14.64. Well, back when I bought it, it was $8.85 with free shipping. So being the 7mm lens, then according to the manual, this one is 1280 by 960. So there it is with its ring of LEDs surrounding the lens. So it says it is 640 by 480, or, which I assume is on the phone, or 1280 by 720 on the computer. Okay. 70-degree field of view, I assume 30 frames per second. Focus is anywhere between 3 and 10 centimeters. This says it's MP4. The manual that came with it says it's AVI. I guess we'll have to find out. Okay, so I've got it plugged into my computer. And there you can see the LEDs are adjustable on there. Not sure what that button does exactly. But if we take a look at the computer, you can see that it is actually doing its job and creating a pretty good picture, I think. If we macro it in on something like this AAA battery, that works pretty well. If I can keep it on screen. So that is about that distance there from, so what is that? That's about 2 centimeters away from the battery right now. Back it up to about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 centimeters away from the battery. That's not too bad. So let's see what came in this accessory bag here. A couple of little metal bits. Oh, that one's magnetic. Okay. And a hook and a little sleeve. And this little 45-degree mirror for looking around corners. It's got threads on it, so that just screws onto there. Then you can use it for looking at the side of whatever you're diving inside instead of looking straight ahead. That's kind of cool. Then this little sleeve, which has a notch in it, and these 2 different wire adapter thingies. They look kind of spring steelish. They sort of go on there like that and jam on like that. Arf. And then you've got a magnet in front of your camera that you can go diving into a hole and pick up a screw or whatever that you drop down there. I could see that coming in handy. Or you can use this to snag something non-metallic and yoink it back out. I could actually probably use those. Anyway, let's just take a look at a little bit of footage that I captured with this thing. I put the 45-degree mirror on and went for a dive inside my acoustic guitar. And kind of fished around and took a look at the bottom side of my bridge and the back of the bridge pins and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting. You could probably look around inside a guitar and just see what kind of repairs it needs. Or you can take it over to the 3D printer and just take a close-up of the hot end. Now, I'm not printing anything right now, but if I was, I could probably come up with a mount for this thing, and I'm sure there's some on Thingiverse. I could just put this right in front of the hot end and look at the nozzle and watch the print happening from really, really close. And of course, that light, in addition to the lights that I've got on the printer, probably make for some pretty good video. And the last thing in is something that one of you guys sent to my mailbox. This came from Kirk and Lisa in Placerville, California. With a fairly cool looking stamp on it too. Oh, looks like, oh, there's circuit boards. Okay, what's the note say first? Oh, okay, this came from Kirk at Renard Plus. These are the same guys that sent me the ES... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So this little Wi-Fi Pixel board uses an ESP01, ESP8266-01, and a drive transistor and a few resistors and diodes and a regulator, well, polyfuse there, to drive strings of NeoPixels WS2812 LEDs, and they have a bunch of different programming options, and they work closely with the DIY Christmas lighting community to make neat little boards like this and programmers and stuff. And Kirk had messaged me a while ago, and I'd almost forgotten about it until this thing showed up. Okay, so he says these are a couple of prototype DMX type adapter boards that never got turned into a product and never released. So this is kind of cool. But he goes on to talk about they integrated that functionality into another one of their boards. So I'm going to go and quickly take a look at that on their website. But he also included a couple of the version 4 boards of the Wi-Fi Pixel. This is the 3.1 that they sent me that I experimented with earlier. There's a couple of changes, he said, in how the voltage regulator works, or how it's connected, and to get around this bodge that he did on the older version 3.1 boards. So anyway, that is kind of cool. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on these little DMX boards. He also says these are two different versions of the prototype. One of them has the RJ45 connector going out the side, and one has it going out the end. So that is kind of interesting. What is that chip there? SN75176AP. Not familiar with that. Is that an RS45 driver? Let's go find a datasheet. Oh, okay. It's not an RS485 chip. It is just a straight up bus transceiver. Okay. Okay, so it's just a line driver. Interesting. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on this thing. Like you said, these are just prototype boards that were never fully developed, so there's no manuals or anything for these. So if I want to use them for anything, I'll have to go digging. But in the meantime, I can probably track down the parts that belong on these Wi-Fi pixels, because it's going to be almost the same as on the 3.1 version if I want to build up any more. Thanks, Kirk. I appreciate that. That is kind of neat, and I'll have to play with that in the future. Let's go see what information I can find on their website. Okay, so there's their Wi-Fi bridge product. Fairly compact little board, too. So the ESP01 on the end, looks like a voltage regulator there. That is that same line driver IC, and RJ45 out. So they're just using RJ45 as the connector for the DMX, but it's also available on the pins there. Okay, it essentially provides a Wi-Fi interface to various DMX devices. I guess that's one way of leveling up your Christmas lighting display. That's pretty cool. There's a GitHub for some code to work with it, some firmware, and there's a manual. Oh yeah, I remember this. So Renard is a hobbyist-led effort. Renard Shop is just a small company it's more of a labor of love kind of a thing, really, just to get some hardware out there for the hobbyists. That is cool. So there is the thumbnail sketch of what it does. It bridges Wi-Fi data to wired infrastructure, and they've got various different examples, but DMX is the only one that I'm familiar with. I'm going to have to go deeper down this rabbit hole, and I'll put some links if you guys want to go deeper down this rabbit hole. And there is the contents of today's Mailbag Monday. Always interesting what shows up, and so like things that I'd forgotten I'd ordered, or things that people out there send in. So quickly, shipping times. These pots took 40 days to get here. The endoscope camera took 19 days to get here. The HDMI splitter amp took 15 days to get here. I forgot about that. The meter of 5-conductor silicon cable took 20 days to get here. And then these took whatever it took to get from Sacramento, California up to Canada. I can't remember exactly when it showed up, but yeah, it only took a couple weeks to get here too. So that is pretty cool. Some interesting experimentation, a project. I'll have to play with this guy and see if it actually works. I still don't have a lot of HDMI video capture equipment and video sources that I would want to use in my lab here, but I may be able to use that to grab a Raspberry Pi, use that with my capture thing. And yeah, these could be fun to play with too. Oh yeah, I got to reading a little bit more on that letter and rereading it again just carefully. And these little boards were originally designed to piggyback on the back of the Wi-Fi Pixel, kind of like that. So you could use software in the Wi-Fi Pixel to drive your DMX or whatever. Would have been more lucid if I had actually read the letter before I opened it and looked at it. Anyway, whatever. that's going to be interesting to play with at some time in the future, probably closer to Christmas when I want to come up with some kind of upgrade for my Christmas lighting again. Anyway, that said, thank you everybody for watching. Thanks to Kirk for sending me that. Thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping me pay for the rest of this stuff and buying the beer. I appreciate that, guys. Questions and comments down below in the comments section, down there. Yeah, thanks, and I'll talk to you later.